Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah for the brothers, Yahweh Shema Alatah Hashem Yahushua for the sisters. This is the Friday High Desert ISUPK Scripture Breakdown class. This is the ISUPK under General Yohana out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I'm Police Officer Shadrach. We're going to go tonight for the Scripture Breakdown. We're going to go into why did America reject the Haitians? Okay. So we want to know why. So right now, I'm going to go into the Haitian people. Haitians are actually the Levites in the Bible. Their identity is in the Bible for being Levites, okay? The tribe of Levi. These were the original priests of the children of Israel. The original priests for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were the Haitian people, okay? They had worked with Moses and Aaron, who, by the way, are Haitian as well. They're from the tribe of Levi as well. All right. So we're going to go into Exodus 2 and verse 1. Exodus 2 and verse 1. Okay. Let's find out why America turned their back on Haitian migrants that came here out of a calamity from a 7.2 earthquake, which they couldn't help. That's an act of nature. So they fled and came to the borders of America and were rejected and placed under a highway. About 414,000 people, maybe better. 14,000 Haitians, maybe better. Okay, the numbers might be up. I'm not sure if that. I know somewhere around 14,000. Okay, now, why did they do that? Why did they reject these people? Well, let's see. Let's go into depth in the Bible of who the Haitian people are. Okay, here's Exodus 2 and verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took a wife, a daughter, and took to wife a daughter, okay, of Salaki, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. This is a man of Levi. He took to wife, a daughter of Levi. So these are two Levites, a man and a woman. Okay, they got married. Verse 2, and the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. Okay. This is depicting in the Bible the slavery of the Israelites in the land of Egypt when they were making the Pharaoh his treasure houses. Okay. These people, these my brothers and sisters of the tribe of Levi were in captivity. So she hid this child for 3 months. Okay. She hid him for 3 months. Verse 3. And when she could no longer hide him, she took him for an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch. So they daubed it with slime and pitch. So this is a bunch of bulrushes. I guess that's the foliage or the growth that they have around there, probably long branches, wide branches or whatever. She put slime around them branches so that this basket could float. Okay. She was near the Nile River at that time. Okay. And daubed it with slime and with pitch and put the child therein. She put the child in that basket. Okay. And she laid it in the flags by the river bank. Verse 4. Selected by the river's brink. Okay. Verse 4. And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him. Okay. So his sister probably waiting around to see what would happen, what would happen with her son. Okay. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. This is the daughter of the highest, Pharaoh in Egypt, okay, at that time, while our people were in captivity, building pyramids and treasure houses for the Pharaoh, okay. She went down to wash herself in the river, and her maidens walked along the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, so they call this an ark. I call it a basket. They call this an ark. Okay. When she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. Verse 6. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him. See, Most High moved her in a way to have compassion for this child. Okay. This child is a Hebrew. Okay. And said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. Okay. Then said, verse 7, then said his sister to the Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And the Pharaoh's daughter, verse 8, and the Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. Okay. Verse 9, and Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. So she was going to pay for this, for the Hebrew woman to actually take care of the child. Okay. And the woman took the child and nursed it. Verse 10, and the child grew, and she brought him unto the Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. Okay. And she said, because I drew him out of the water. See, that's the beginning of the life of Moses, of the tribe of Levi, a Haitian, you would call him today. You would call Moses a Haitian today if he was still alive. Okay. This is who America rejected, of the tribe of Levi. This is who America rejected. I charge America for rejecting the Haitian people, my brothers and sisters over there. I charge them. I charge this nation for that, for rejecting my people and placing them in horrid conditions and not giving a damn about them, and then giving everything to the Afghanistani people, the Afghans or whatever. All right. They getting checks and coming in, and neighborhoods and communities are preparing themselves for the Afghans to come in. And they're already here. But our Haitian brothers of the tribe of Levi, God's chosen people, are under a bridge, under a freeway, without no child care, no tampons for the women, no Pampers for the children, no Huggies for the children. Okay. No food for the children, no food for the people. No shelter, no clothing. Okay, I charge America for that. And ISUPK charges America as well for this. See, you put the children of the Lord in jeopardy. You saw their calamity, and you continue to put them in jeopardy. Understand, this is why America rejected the Haitian people, because America is against God. America is against God. Democrats, Republicans, congressmen, the president, and all of them, Kamala Harris, Biden, all of them, Nancy Pelosi, all of them against God's chosen people. Understand? They didn't give two flying you-know-whats, all right, about our brothers and sisters, over there under that bridge, suffering and living in horrid conditions. And then they getting on them horses like the old slave masters did to my Judite brothers, to my ancestors. Understand, the so-called Negroes, the Judites. Understand, God's chosen people when we were across from the transatlantic slavery on them plantations, whipping us while they on the horse. whipping our people while they on the horse, man. They did the same thing to our brothers and sisters from the tribe of Levi, the Haitians, whipping them with horses because they're trying to get across the water. They're trying to get across the water to get on the land so that they can find some type of shelter, some type of help, so that they can help themselves. One of the horses knocked my brother down in the water. Just knocked him down. Understand? They caught it on TV. They caught that. See, America got caught this time. This time, America got caught with his hands in a cookie jar. Understand? This time, America gets charged for this. Everybody is looking in on this. All right? No help whatsoever. It took the men of the Lord to go down there to help my brothers and sisters. Okay? So this is of the tribe of Moses, because she drew him out the water. Moses is the one responsible, the priest responsible for taking the children of Israel and leading us out of the land of captivity called Egypt. Mitzrayim, the real name is Mitzrayim. All right? Taking them out of the land of Egypt. All right? Now let's go down to verse 12. This is Exodus 2 and verse 12. All right? And he looked this way and that way. Salaki. Let's go to verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses had grown, he went out unto his brethren. Because see, Moses found out that he was a Hebrew. Moses at first probably thought he was Egyptian, but he found out that he was Hebrew and that the Pharaoh's daughter was not really his mother. Okay, so he went out when he was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew. The Egyptian was striking and whooping a Hebrew. Moses saw that. All right. Spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. See? Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian. He killed that Egyptian. See that? He had compassion. That's my brother. You beating my brother down like they did over there in what's it, Acuna, okay, over there at the border, the Mexican and American border over there, that they did to them Haitian brothers over there, okay, those Levites. That's who you call them in the Bible, Levites, okay. Where was I at? Okay, and slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And verse 13, and when he went out the second day, behold, two men of Hebrews strove together. So two Hebrews were fighting. See, they were under so much stress, they were fighting each other. Understand? They were slaves in that land. They were building pyramids. See, what people fail to realize is that America is modern day Egypt. America is the modern day Egypt. The back of your dollar bill has a pyramid on it, okay, with that all-seeing eye at the capstone of that pyramid. Understand? America is modern day Egypt. See, that's what your pastors are not telling you in these churches, man. All right. Come to ISUPK, continue to be in these classes and get the truth so that you'll know. You'll be set free. The truth will set you free. All right. And behold, two men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, who made thee a prince to judge over us? So Moses asking him, why'd you hit him like that? You was the one in the wrong. And the Hebrew answered, why you trying to be king? See, that sounds just like us black folks. When I say black, I mean blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's who I mean. Those are God's chosen people. That's the entire nation of Israel. That's what the entire nation of Israel is made up of. Blacks, Hispanics, and so-called Native Indians. They all so-called blacks, so-called Hispanic, and so-called Native Indians. Okay. That's when I say black, that's who I'm referring to. And that's who we refer to in the ISUPK. We know our brothers and sisters biblically and in modern day time. Okay. All right. Intendest thou to kill me as thou killedest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now, when the Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. He was going to kill Moses because he found out that he killed the Egyptian. Okay, Moses fled, but Moses fled from the face of the Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he walked down by a well. Okay, now I'm going to hold off on this part because we're going to go a little bit further on this. Let's see, we did 15. All right, now let's go to Exodus 3 and verse 1. 3 and 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, because he's fled to the Midianites. And he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. Verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame. See, the Lord is seeking Moses. The Lord was seeking Moses back then. How dare you, America, do that to the descendants of Moses, to the descendants of Levi, their father? Understand? Levi was the father of the Levites. When you say ites at the end, that means sons of the Levites. How dare you do that to the Levites, man? All right. Verse 2, back there. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush, of a bush, out of the middle of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed, which means the bush wasn't burning. It was burning of fire, but the bush wasn't being burnt. The leaves weren't being burnt. Okay. But yet there was a fire in the middle of that bush. Okay. The bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Verse 3, and Moses said, I will turn now aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. All right, make sure. And verse 4, and when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called him, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, here am I. Verse 5, and he said, draw not nigh hither, which means don't come near here. Okay. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place wherein thou standeth is holy ground. Where that burning bush was, that was holy ground. So Moses, the Lord told Moses to take your shoes off, man. This is a holy ground, which holy means is separate. The Lord our God is holy. The Lord God Yahweh in the Hebrew is holy. And so are his people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So that includes the Haitian people. Okay. Now, verse 6, moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Verse 7, and the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt. See, the Lord saw the affliction of all the Israelites, all the tribes that were in Egypt, serving under the Pharaoh in cruel captivity, serving with rigor, serving in horrific conditions, being beaten, killed, tortured, punished, looked down upon. Understand? Doing servile work for this Pharaoh, which is an African. Understand? Black people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and so-called blacks, so-called Negroes are not African. We are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen of God. Understand? That's who we are. All right. Surely I've seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry for a reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. Did America know the sorrows of the Haitians down there under that freeway, fleeing from a natural 7.2 earthquake. That's it, because they couldn't go back to their country because their country was broken into pieces. See, first of all, the Lord did that. The Lord did that to show the world what America does to his chosen people. He did that on purpose. Nothing happens on this earth unless the Lord lets it happen. The Lord let that happen. He caused an angel to go down there and shake that earth and make that earthquake horrific and massive so that the people therein would flee. The Levites would flee to America for help, for refuge. And what did they get? Rejection and beaten, thrown back in the river underneath horrific conditions, man. Probably freezing out there. You understand? Or just plain despair, man. Just terrible. Okay. Verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians. See, that's what's going to happen, because this is near the end of the world. This is the end of Esau's world, our oppressor. This is the end of his world, because Esau did that to the Levites. Esau did that to the Haitian people, the Levites. Understand? And the Lord said, I'm gonna come down and take them out of there, out of Egypt. See, that's gonna happen again, because we're gonna come out of America, because America is Egypt. We're slaves in this country. A lot of y'all think that you're not slaves, man. You better think twice if you don't go to work for a whole week on your own will and see if you keep your job. See if you can still put food in your mouth and have a roof over your head. Understand? You have to go to work, and you have to go through all that taskmaster stuff. Just like these taskmasters, that's your boss. That's your boss at your job, doubling your work, tripling and doubling your work. Okay? Making sure. And if you don't like it, find another job. Get out of here. We'll find somebody else. They don't give a damn. Just so as America didn't give a damn about the Haitian people. Okay? And I am come down to deliver them. This is verse 8, chapter 3 and verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land unto a land and a large, unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. See, that's what the Lord had intended for his people. That's what the Lord intended. And that's what the Lord still intends for us to do, to go to. We're going to go into that land of milk and honey very shortly. We're going to be out of the clutches and out of this draconian society of America, out of this slavery. We don't have to do nothing that they say. Our King Christ, Yahushua in Hebrew, will come and reign over us and be our king, not Biden. He is not my president. Understand? It's not mine. My king is Yahushua, is Christ, Yahushua in Hebrew. And if you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, that's your king too. Okay? Now, unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. See, these different tribes, different Gigites, Jebusites, Amorites, Hittites, and all that. Those are Africans. Perizzites, those are Africans. Canaanites, they're African. Understand? See, we're going to go into that land and take their land. The Lord said, go in and take their land. That's what the Lord our God said back then. Okay, and that's what we just did. That's exactly what our ancestors did. Joshua was given charge to do that. And he conquered all of those tribes and took us into the land. Verse 9, now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression. See, oppression, our oppressor in America. Understand? Esau, our oppressor. The one that caused the transatlantic slave trade. Okay? I have also seen the oppression wherein the Egyptians oppressed them. Verse 10, come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. See, the Lord don't want us here. The Lord don't want us here under these conditions. Understand? He does not want us here under these conditions. He wants us to be free from this madness. He wants us to be under righteous rulership, under a perfect government. And that only perfect government is going to be when Christ returns, when the Lord sends him down here, when he cracks that sky with 1,000,000 black angels, and you see that he's a black man, and he's going to come down here and wreak havoc on the earth, especially America. They're going to get their just desserts, understand, for messing with the Lord's children, the chosen of God, understand? That's what it's going to do, okay? Understand, the Lord's chosen. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people. Just like that ground that the Lord told Moses to take his shoes off of, because it was separate. That ground was holy, holy ground. Understand? We are a holy people, separate. Okay, holy means separate. For thou art a holy people under the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Understand that that's who blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are. A holy people chosen by the Lord God, Yahweh. And America can't stop that. He can't stop it. You can't stop it. Understand? It's coming. The end is coming. The end is near for our oppressor. Understand? So now we're going to go to, let's go to Genesis 34, verse 1. Genesis 34 and verse 1. All right. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob. See, Jacob had 12 sons, who were the fathers of the 12 tribes, who starts the 12 tribes of Israel. Understand? But they had a sister named Dinah. Okay. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Verse 2, and when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, see, he's not an Israelite. Dinah's an Israelite, but this guy, Shechem, is not. Prince of the country saw her and took her and lay with her and defiled her. See, he know he was wrong when he did that, because Israelites are not to be with anyone but Israelites. So if you black and you a man, you need to find a black woman or a Hispanic woman or a so-called Native Indian woman. Those are the women that are lawful for you to marry, to go in unto. Understand? Those are the women that you're supposed to make your wife. Okay. Any other woman from any other land, that is forbidden by the Most High God. Understand? That's why these marriages are terrible. You know, ask O.J. Simpson. All right. Tiger Woods, I think, too. And a lot more than that. Okay. And Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, and he took her and lay with her and defiled her. And his soul, verse 3, and his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the damsel and spoke kindly unto the damsel. Although he loved her all fine and dandy, but you're not supposed to be with her. You're a heathen and she's an Israelite. Okay. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor. Unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. Verse 5. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah. his daughter. Now his sons were in his cattle, with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace. That means he stayed cool until they were come. And verse 6, and Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And 7, and the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, which means they were very angry to hear that their sister got defiled by this heathen. Okay. Because he had brought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. Verse 8, and Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you give her him to wife. Now they got the nerve and audacity to ask her to ask them to let her be his wife. Okay. Verse 9, and make ye marriages with us, and give us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. Verse 10, and ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. See, so they wanted to trade, get marriages with the daughters, and all of that, and you know, just mix the heathens with God's chosen people. Shalom. All right. So that's what they wanted to do. Now, let's drop down to verse 24. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised. See, so let's go back up a little bit here. Let's go to verse 14. Let's go to verse 13. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. Verse 14, and they said unto them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this we will consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. Verse 16, then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. I don't see how that's going to happen. The Lord didn't say anything about that happening. You know, they're saying that deceitfully. Okay. Verse 17, but if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone. Verse 18, and their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. All right. Verse 19, and the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. Okay. Now we're going to drop down to verse 24. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out the gate of his city. Okay. Every male was circumcised. See, they listened to him. They listened to Jacob and his sons. They got circumcised to try to be like Israelites, so they could marry the daughters and trade and all that stuff. Every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. Verse 25, and it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, because you know, man gets circumcised, he's going to be sore for weeks. Okay. That two of the sons of Jacob Simeon and Levi. See, Simeon is the father of the Dominican Republic. We have a 12-tribe chart that explains who is who, what Hispanic is of what tribe, what Negro is of what tribe, what Native Indian is of what tribe. So Jacob's son Simeon is the father of the Dominican Republic, people from the Dominican Republic. And Levi, of course, as I mentioned, was the father of the Haitians. Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and all came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. See, while they were trying to heal up from being circumcised, they knew that they were going to be weak. So they came up with the sword, the two brothers, Simeon and Levi, and they killed those heathens. Okay. And slew all the males. Verse 26, and they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah, their sister, well, I'm just saying their sister, out of Shechem's house and went out. Verse 27, the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and the spoiled city, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. Okay, so this thing was not a righteous thing to be done. I'll just give a little story about who the Levites were. You know, the Lord didn't look kindly upon the Levites for this act that they did, that Simeon and Levi did. They wasn't supposed to do that, you know, to kill these people. Okay, now let's go to where we're at. We're at 33, right? I mean, so like 34, 24, 28. Verse 28, they took their sheep and their oxen and their asses and that which was in the city and that which was in the field. Verse 29, and all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. Verse 30, and Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land. See, Jacob, the father, didn't want to cause no trouble, but Simeon and Levi were pissed because Dinah got raped, basically, by this heathen. Okay, so you know, quite naturally, your brother's gonna be angry, super angry at that. Okay. The land among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, so they were among the Africans. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed. That's what Jacob is saying. He might get killed because of what his sons did. Okay, and all of them might be killed. I and my house. So that means him and his family. See? Verse 31. And they said, should he deal with our sister as with a harlot? See? So they were saying, are you going to act like our sister was a whore or something like that? Okay, so they were angry, but it's a price to pay for that. Okay, let's go to Genesis chapter 4 and verse 10. Genesis chapter 4 and verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brothers, Salah. Okay, I'm gonna scratch that, but we're gonna go to Genesis 49 and verse 5. Let's go to Genesis 49 and verse 5. All right. Here it is. Genesis chapter 49 and verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. See, Simeon and Levi are brethren. Now, if anyone knows about the geography and all of that, the Dominican Republic is right next to Haiti. So Simeon is the Dominican Republic and Levi is the Haitian people, are the Haitian people. So Simeon, as it says in the Bible, Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. See, they have instruments of cruelty. You know, they do that Santeria and all that stuff, that voodoo and all of that. But they also killed a whole tribe, almost a whole tribe of Africans, and took their money and took everything for raping their sister. See, O my soul, verse 6, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. My honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man. So they're referring to Shechem and Hamor and the rest of those Africans that they slew because of their sister Dinah. Okay. And their self-will, and in their self-will, they dig down a wall. Verse 7, cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. See, that's the prophecy of Jacob concerning his sons. That's just one of the sons. They go through the whole prophecy of all 12 of the sons. But I just wanted to bring that out about the Haitian people. Now let's look deeper into the Haitians and who are called the Levites in this Bible, the tribe of Levi. Okay. Let's go to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 26. Wait a minute. Okay, we're not gonna go to that. We're gonna go to Genesis 21 and 1. Genesis chapter 21 and verse 1. I'm getting all these are getting kind of mixed up here. So let's go to Numbers 1 through 4. Numbers chapter 1 and verse 1. Let's go to Numbers 1 and 1. Let me show you this. Let's go to Numbers chapter 1 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to come forth to war in Israel. Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. So they were getting their sons together for war. Now, Aaron is also a Levite. Aaron was Moses' spokesman. He was a priest, and also his sons, and he was a spokesman for Moses, because Moses had a speech impediment, by the way. Okay. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one the head of his house, head of the house of his fathers. Okay. Now let's go to verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day and the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, 20 years old and upward by their polls. See, this is the pedigree. See, SUBCRIBE deals with the pedigree. The pedigree is your genealogy. Who is your father? Your father's an Israelite, then you're an Israelite. If your father was namely, if your father's a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, then you're an Israelite. Okay. Now let's go to verse 20. And the children of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers. See, the house is the family of their fathers, by the family of their fathers. Okay, so it goes into all of that. Now let's go to, see if I can see. Go to let's go to verse 47. But the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among them. See, the Levites weren't numbered among them when they were numbering. You can read all this up to you can read Numbers chapter 1, 20 through 53, and you'll see that these were the men numbered for war. However, the Levites were not to be numbered among them, being that the Levites were the priests. Okay, they were God's priests, the tribe, the original priests of the children of Israel. Okay, but the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among them. Verse 48, for the Lord had spoken unto Moses, saying, only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel, but thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over all the vessels thereof, and over all the things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle and all the vessels thereof. They shall minister unto it, and shall encamp round about the tabernacle. Verse 51. And when the tabernacle setteth forward, the Levites shall take it down. And when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. The Lord was serious about that. If a stranger comes near, they'll be put to death. The Levites were in charge of the tabernacle. Okay, they did special work for the Lord. Understand? Okay, these are the people that they left under the freeway. America left under the freeway. That was these great people, my brethren. Okay, that's what they did to the Haitians, man. Okay, but this is what the Haitians did in the Bible early in the book of Numbers. Okay, now let's go to Numbers 2. So like in Numbers 2 and verse 17. Okay, Numbers 2 and verse 17. Then the tabernacle of the congregation shall set forward with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camp as they encamp. See, so the Levites will be in the middle of the camp while they're camping, okay? So shall they set forward, every man in his place by their standard. Verse 18, on the west side shall be the standard. Okay, so these are special instructions for the Levites to do. Okay, let's go to verse 33. But the Levites were not numbered among the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. See, the Lord commanded Moses not to number the Levites. Okay, now that's their pedigree. This is their pedigree. This is who they are. Okay. Now let's go to Ezra, the book of Ezra. We're going to go over to the book of Ezra. Might be easier for me to get this. Give me a minute, bear with me. We're going to go to the book of Ezra. And it's Ezra chapter 3 and verse 8. The book of Ezra chapter 3 and verse 8. Now, in the second year of the coming unto the house of God at Jerusalem, in the second month, began Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and the remnant of their brethren, the priests and the Levites, and all they that were come out of the captivity unto Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward to set forward the work of the house of the Lord. See, that's their job, the work of the house of the Lord, the temple, to build the temple, to take care of the temples, to take care of the house of the Lord, to take care of the tabernacle, to set up the tabernacle, to break down, to move the tabernacle forward. Okay, these are the tasks, and these are the duties of the Levites, the priests. Okay, they had a very important role in this Bible, very important. Okay. Let's go down. Then stood Jeshua, this is verse 9. Then stood Jeshua and his sons and his brethren, Kadmiel and his sons, the sons of Judah, together. See, the so-called Negroes too. The sons of Judah together to set forward the workmen in the house of God. The sons of Henadad and their sons and their brethren, the Levites. Verse 10, and the builders laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord. They set the priests in their apparel, which is their clothes, with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaphat, with cymbals, to praise the Lord, after the ordinance of David, king of Israel. Very important, very important. Okay, these were the tasks. These are the things that the Levites done, so-called Haitian people. Okay, let's go to Ezra 6 and verse 19. Ezra chapter 6 and verse 19. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the first month. Verse 20. And for the priests and the Levites were purified together. All of them were pure, and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity, and the brethren for their brethren and priests, and for themselves. And when they say and killed the Passover, they were slaughtering the lamb, okay, so that they could eat. Okay, you're supposed to eat lamb on the Passover. And that's what we do here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We keep all the holy days. We actually slaughter the lamb so that we could cook it and prepare it and cook it for ourselves at Passover, along with preparing the unleavened bread as well, and the bitter herb and the wine as well. Okay, we do those things because the Lord commands us to do these things. If you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, come to the Passover. Every year we had the Passover. This year we had it in Houston, Texas. Okay, come out and break bread with your brothers and sisters and see how we get down. See how the UPK gets down. Understand? You'll have a great time. Trust me. And no one will be out there trying to steal from you or harm you. You'll be protected. You'll be with your brothers and sisters who understand this Bible, who wants to keep you together and raise this nation. We're here to raise this nation to come together. And what you saw when my brothers went down there to Acuna, to the borders of Mexico and America, to our Haitian brothers, there were Issacharites there too. Issacharites are also God's chosen people, the Mexicans. The Mexicans and the Haitians, the Mexicans was trying to help the Haitians down there as well. Understand? And then when we came down there, the SUBCRIBE, it was on the news. You saw us giving out food, water, tampons or whatever, hygiene items, Huggies, Pampers, you understand? All the clothes, all of that we gave to our brothers and sisters. Shame on you, America. Shame on America. Shame on America, man. You didn't want to do a damn thing for the Lord's people because you despise Black people. You despise Haitian people. Understand? You despise our brethren and us, man, and Hispanics and Native Indians, man. You despise us, greatly despise us. You wouldn't lift a finger, but you gave these Afghans monthly checks. They get monthly checks now. They got housing. They got people in the community coming out doing special things, unique special things for them. But for the Lord's chosen people, you get an uncertain life, death, suffering, humility, horrific conditions to live under. Understand? No clothes on your back. Understand? That's what you get. That's how America responds to someone who's in need, to a migrant who is in need of help because there was a natural disaster in that country that they couldn't help. So they had to come in to seek refuge. So you throw them up underneath a freeway and deport them and whip them on top of horses like the slave masters did on the plantations during the transatlantic slavery, the slave trade. Understand? You treat them like slaves. Okay? You treat them like less than human, subhuman, put them under subhuman conditions, man. That's what you do for the Levites, for the ancient priests, the Levites in the Bible that did the Lord's work, that took care of the God's temple, that took care of the tabernacles. That's what you do. Wow. Okay. We're gonna see what's gonna happen to America. This place is gonna burn at 1,000 degrees. This place is going to be destroyed from thermonuclear destruction. Understand? World War III is at the doorstep, knocking on the door. World War III is coming right to America. Like they say, coming to a theater near you, but it won't be no damn theater. You'll be the theater. All right, so we had Ezra chapter 6, verse 19. Let's go to verse 20. Okay, we already did 20. Let's go to the book of Numbers. Let's go to the book of Numbers. We're going to go to chapter 3 and verse 9. Numbers chapter 3 and verse 9. And thou shalt give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. They are holy, given unto him out of the children of Israel. Verse 10, and thou shalt appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on the priest's office, and the stranger that come near shall be put to death. Okay, Aaron was a Levite, and so his sons are Levites, of course. Understand? So they are to wait on the priest's office. Okay. Let's go down to verse 12. And behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel, instead of all the firstborn that openeth the matrix, which means your firstborn, that breaks through the womb, the matrix. That's the firstborn. Among the children of Israel, therefore the Levites shall be mine. See, the Lord said the Levites shall be mine. Understand? All of Israel is the Lord's, but the Lord set aside even the Levites to do his work, to do a different task for the temple, for himself. Okay, let's go down to verse 32. Verse 32. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be chief over the chief of the Levites, and have oversight of them to keep the charge of the sanctuary. So they kept the charge of the sanctuary also. Okay. Now, let's go to Ezra 6 and verse 1. Then Darius the king made a decree. So this is when we were in captivity in Assyria, I believe. We went to Assyria. And then Darius the king made a decree, and search was made in the house of the rolls where the treasures were laid up in Babylon. Verse 2. And there was found an Acmetha in the palace that is in the province of the Medes, a roll, and therein was a record. Verse 3. In the first year of Cyrus the king, the same Cyrus the king made a decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. See, Cyrus was the king. He was a Mede. I believe he was a Mede or a Persian. He was the one responsible to make the command to let the children of Israel rebuild God's temple. Okay. A decree concerning the house of God at Jerusalem. Let the house be builded, the place where they offered sacrifices, and let the foundations thereof be strongly laid, the height thereof 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 80 cubits. Okay. So Cyrus gave them permission to rebuild the temple. Okay. Let's go down to verse 16. And the children of Israel, the priests and the Levites, and the rest of the children of captivity kept the dedication of this house of God with joy. Verse 7, and they offered at the dedication of this house of God 100 bullocks, 200 rams, 400 lambs, and for a sin offering for all Israel, 12 he-goats, according to the number of the tribes of Israel. See? Verse 18, and they set the priests in their divisions and the Levites in their courses for the service of God, which at Jerusalem, as it is written in the book of Moses. Verse 19, and the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the first month. Verse 20, for the priests and the Levites were purified together. All of them were pure and killed the Passover for all the children of Israel of the captivity, for their brethren, the priests, and for themselves. So we kind of had read that already. We're just going over it. Okay. So now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 9. Deuteronomy chapter 17 and verse 9. And we're going to go from 9 through 13. And thou shalt come unto the priests, the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. See, they're responsible for the judgment as well. Okay, the judgment of the children of Israel. The Levites were, they were responsible. Verse 10, and thou shalt do according to the sentence which they had of that place which the Lord shall choose, shall show thee, and thou shalt observe to do according to all that they inform thee. Verse 11, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgment which they shall tell thee, thou shalt do. Thou shalt not decline from the sentence which they show thee. Do to the right hand nor to the left. Verse 12, and the man that would do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth to minister there before the Lord thy God, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and shall put away the evil from Israel. So what does it mean to do, and the man had to do presumptuously? What does presumptuously mean? Okay, let's take a look at that. What does it mean when a man does presumptuously? That can mean anything, but we want to find out. So we're going to check it in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Okay, here we go. This is what a man does when he does presumptuously: overstepping due bounds, as of propriety or courtesy, taking liberty, overstepping your boundaries and taking liberty to do anything you want to do. Arrogant, assumptive, cavalier, chesty, haughty, high and mighty, high-handed. See, overweening, pompous, presuming. You presuming that you could do all of this, right? Superior, top lofty, uppity, uppish, okay, huffy, all of that. That's the presumptuous. If a man does all those things presumptuously, it'll cost him his life. Thus saith the Lord. It will cost him his life, okay, in this judgment. Okay. So we're at what? Numbers. Okay, I was at Deuteronomy 17, probably like verse 10, 17. Okay, so we was at Deuteronomy 17 and verse 9. We started at 9. We're at 12. We're at the end of 12, verse 13. And all the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously. So you hear and you will fear the Lord, and you won't no longer go out of your bounds. You'll no longer be arrogant. You'll no longer be uppity. You'll no longer just choose your own way. You understand? And be high-handed, top heavy or chesty, like they say. Okay, like the definition says here. You won't be assuming to be assumptive or arrogant. Okay, you no longer do those things. Okay, so that's what presumptuous means, and this was the order that was given in the Bible for the Levites to make sure that they let all the children of Israel know that this is what they are not to do. Okay. So let's go to Joshua chapter 3 and verse 3. This is Joshua chapter 3 and verse 3. And they commanded the people, saying, when ye see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, and the priests, the Levites, bearing it. See, that was the job of the Levites too, to bear the ark of the covenant. Okay. Then ye shall remove from your place and go after it. Okay. So this is commands that you're supposed to do, that they were supposed to do at that time. Okay. So this is for the officers. The officers at that time, that was their commission to do. And the Levites were bearing the Ark of the Covenant. Another important job to do. Joshua, let's go to chapter 8, Joshua 8 and verse 33. And all Israel and their elders and officers and their judges stood on the side of the ark, and on that side before the priests, the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, as well the stranger, as he that was born among them, half of them against Mount Gerizim, and half of them over Mount Ebal, as Moses, the servant of God, had commanded before, that they should bless the people of Israel. See, that was important for the Levites to do these things, man, so that the Lord could bless all of Israel. So he could bless all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So that's the reason. There's the reasons, and there's the proof, more the proof of why we went down to those borders and took care of our brothers and sisters. And we got caught on the news, and we got caught when America was asleep. America was sleeping at the job. America didn't do anything. We went over there and served our brothers as they have served us in ancient times. We took care of our brothers because the Lord commands us to love one another, to do for one another. Understand? That's what we ought to do. That's what we did, and we did it righteously. We did it effectively. We did it with care and concern for our brothers and sisters when America would not. Okay. Like I said, I charge America for these things. Understand? I have a lot of information here that I wanted to give out, but I don't think it's going to be enough time. But I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Let's go to 1 Samuel 5 and verse 1. 1 Samuel 5 and verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of the covenant and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it unto the house of Dagon. Now these Philistines are Africans. They took it to the house of Dagon, okay, and set it by Dagon. Verse 3, and when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face. Dagon was their god. But that statue was in front of the Ark of the Covenant. In the morning time, when they came back to check that statue out, them Africans was going to look for their God, it fell right in front of the Ark of the Covenant. And when verse 3, and when they of Ashdod arose early on the morrow, behold, the Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord. And they took Dagon and set him in his place again. And when they arose early on the morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon, both the palms of his hands, were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him. The Lord wasn't having that. He's not going to be in the presence of a heathen God and expect to do anything with that. And that heathen God had nothing coming but death and destruction. Okay. Verse 5, therefore neither the priests of Dagon, nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day. They don't even go into that house no more. Verse 6, but the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod, And he destroyed them and smote them with emerods, even Ashdod and the coast thereof. And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, the ark of the God of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us and upon the God, our God. Verse 8, they sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them and said, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? And they answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be carried about unto Gath. And they carried the ark of God of Israel about thither, about there. Verse 9, and it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great, and they had emerods in their secret parts. Wow. Verse 10, therefore they sent the ark of God to Ekron, and it came to pass, as the ark of God came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of the God of Israel to us to slay us and our people. See, the Ekronites knew that they had nothing coming but death and destruction if they bring that ark to their city. Okay? These African people, you understand? The Africans were the one that helped us go into captivity during the transatlantic slave trade anyway. Understand? They had nothing nice. Those Africans ain't about nothing, man. You know, black so-called Negroes are not Africans. They helped them capture us and put us in chains and bring us to America to work on these plantations and all that. Verse 10, verse 11. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, send away the ark of the God of Israel. Let it go again to his own place, that it slay us not, and that our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there. See, that ark had to go back to our people. That ark had to go back to the children of Israel. Understand? And the Levites were to take care of that ark, as the Lord commanded. It doesn't belong in any heathen place, you know. Any place for where the heathens go, you know, where the heathens live or whatever. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. So now we're going to go to 1 Samuel 6 and verse 1. And the ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, what shall we do to the ark of the Lord? Tell us wherewith we shall send it to his place. Verse 3. And they said, if ye send away the ark of the God of Israel, send it not empty, but in any wise return him a trespass offering, because they trespassed. Okay. Then ye shall be healed, and it shall be known to you why his hand is not removed from you. Verse 4. Then said they, what shall be the trespass offering which we shall return to him? They answered, 5 golden emerods and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of the Philistines. For one plague was on you all and on your lords. The Lord sent plagues, man. He sent the plagues. He sent the COVID here, just like he did in Egypt. He sent the plagues in Egypt as well. He put locusts in Egypt. He put mice in Egypt. He killed the cattle in Egypt. He turned the water blood red in Egypt. He put flies in Egypt. Understand? He put many more plagues in Egypt. Killed the firstborn of every son of any Egyptian for our sake. Understand? And this is what's happening to these Philistines, these other Africans. And for our sake, the Lord sent these plagues. Put them emerods in their private places. Wow. Okay. I mean, they're private parts, on your body. So you know what that is, your private parts. Okay. That's what the Lord did. Verse 4. Oh, wait, Salaki. For one, the end of verse 4, for one plague was on you and on your lords. Wherefore ye shall, verse 5, wherefore ye shall make images of your emerods and images of your mice that mar the land, and ye shall give glory unto the Lord, unto the God of Israel. Peradventure, he will lighten his hand from off you and off your gods and from off your land. So he go easy with y'all. They trying to figure out how to get the hand of the Lord off of them, because he's killing them. You understand? Torturing them or whatever. Verse 6. Wherefore then do ye harden your hearts, as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts, when he wrought wonderfully among them? Did they not let the people go, and they departed? See, they were talking about the Egyptians when the Lord put his hand on them, and the Egyptians finally let us go, okay, the help of Moses and all that. All right. Verse 7. Now therefore make a new cart, and take 2 milch kine on which there have come no yoke, and tie the kine to the cart, and bring their calves home from them. Verse 8. And take the ark of the Lord, and lay it upon the cart, and put the jewels of gold, which ye return him for a trespass offering, in a coffer by the side thereof. Send it away that it may go. They ain't want nothing to do with this ark no more. Verse 9. And see if it goeth up by way of his own coast to Beshemesh. Then he hath done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that it is not his hand that smote us. It was a chance that happened to us, like a coincidence. I don't think so. Verse 10. And the men did so, and took 2 milch kine, and tied them to the cart, and shut their calves at home. Verse 11. And they laid the ark of the Lord upon the cart, and the coffer with the mice of gold, and the images of their emerods. Verse 12. And the kine took the straight way of Bershemeth, and went along the highway, lowing as they went, and turned not aside to the right hand nor to the left. And the lords of the Philistines went after them unto their border of Beshemeth. Verse 13. And they of Beshemeth were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, and rejoiced to see it. Verse 14. And the cart came into the field of Joshua. A Beshemite stood there, where there was a great stone, and they clave the wood of the cart, and offered the kine a burnt offering unto the Lord. Verse 15. Now, listen carefully. And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord. See, the ark didn't harm them, because the Lord commissioned them to do the duties in the service of the ark, and to take care of it and maintain it. Okay. And the Levites took down the ark of the Lord, and the coffer that was with it, wherein the jewels and gold were, and put them on a great stone. And the men of Beshemeth offered burnt offerings and sacrifices the same day unto the Lord. See? And when the 5 lords of the Philistines had seen it, they returned to Ekron the same day. Verse 17. And these are the golden emerods which the Philistines returned for a trespass offering unto the Lord. For Ashdod 1, for Gaza 1, for Ashkelon 1, for Gath 1, for Ekron 1. Verse 18. And the golden mice, according to the number of all the cities of the Philistines, belonging to the 5 lords, both of fenced cities and of the country villages, even unto the great stone of Abel, whereon they set down the ark of the Lord, which stone remaineth unto this day in the field of Joshua the Beshemite. Verse 19. And he smote the men of Beshemite, because they had looked into the ark of the Lord. Even he smote of the people 50,000 and 60 men, and 60 men. And the people lamented, because the Lord had smitten many of the people with a great slaughter. Verse 20. And the Beshemeth said, who is able to stand before the holy Lord God? And to whom shall he go up from us? See, so they had to give all kind of gold and things to the children of Israel because of their trespass for taking the ark. They had to give up all of that. You understand? They understood that they were getting slaughtered. They were getting they were getting tore up. They were getting messed up because they actually took that ark and thought that they could do something with it and put it before their God. And the Lord God smote them. Okay. Now let's go to 1 Kings 8 and 4. 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 4. Now we're going to start at verse 1. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel. Solomon is of the tribe of Judah, was the wisest man in the world. Understand? He was the one that is the subject matter in this chapter. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of the tribes, the chiefs of the fathers of the children of Israel, unto King Solomon in Jerusalem, that they might bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the city of David, which is Zion. Verse 2. And all the men of Israel assembled themselves unto King Solomon at the feast in the month of Ethanim, which is the 7th month. Verse 3. And all the elders of Israel came, and the priests took up the ark. Verse 4. And they brought up the ark of the Lord and the tabernacle of the congregation and all the holy vessels that were in the tabernacle, even those did the priests and the Levites bring up. So you see, the Levites had a part in all of these services. In all these services, the Levites, the so-called Haitians, the ones that they threw underneath the highway, the ones that they disrespected and whooped on them horses like they was slaves in the deep South. These are what these people did. These people's ancestors did this. These were the original priests of all 12 tribes of Israel. See, that's why America has to be destroyed, man. That's why America is going to be doomed. That's why America is doomed. That's why we are greatly despised amongst these heathen. We're God's chosen people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. It was a wonderful thing to see how our brothers in the ISUPK went down there and took care of the Haitians down there underneath that freeway when America wouldn't do it. So I still charge America for its reaction, and it's not, and it's how'd you say it? It is nonchalant character toward the Haitian people when they were in need. And this is supposed to be the land of the free, the opportunity for everybody. You know, is it any wonder that day, a day after that happened, they came and took those Haitians out of the freeway and put them in some adequate sleeping quarters and gave them rooms to sleep. They could have did them like they did the Afghans when they came over here just recently. But they didn't do it because they can't stand blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Our oppressor hates us to our guts. He showed it in his actions. He always shows it in his actions. Ask George Floyd, ask Sandra Bland, ask Philando Castile, ask Akai Gurley, ask Trayvon Martin. Understand? Ask Ahmaud Arbery, ask Breonna Taylor. They hate us, man. And for that, the Lord is going to destroy this place. Their kingdom will never rise again. You won't ever see another America ever again anywhere. They'll be destroyed from the face of the earth, man. And rightly so. Rightly so. Okay. Let's see. And verse 5, and King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled under him were with him before the ark, sacrificed sheep and oxen that could not be told nor numbered for multitude. Verse 6, and the priest brought in the ark of the covenant unto his place into the oracle of the house, to the most holy place, even under the wings of the cherubims. See, that's some serious stuff right there. That's serious. Verse 7, for the cherubims spread forth their two wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubims covered the ark, and the staves thereof above. And they drew out the staves, that the ends of the staves were seen out in the holy place before the oracle, and they were not seen without, and they are unto us unto this day. Verse 9, there was nothing in the ark save the two tables of stone, which Moses put there at Horeb when the Lord made a covenant with the children of Israel when they came out of Egypt. Verse 10, and it came to pass when the priests would come out of the holy place that the cloud filled the house of the Lord. You understand? Verse 11, so that the priest could not stand to minister because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord had filled the house of the Lord. That's how important them Haitians, them people you despise, that's how important they are. They are important so that the glory of the Lord can fill the house. Understand? They saw the glory of the Most High God, Yahweh. Understand that. See, we're going to be taken out of all this nonsense that's going on today, all these things. In these end times, you need to be praying that you be forgiven for all the things that you've done. You need to fall in and kick in and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what we follow in the ISUPK, the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. That's the most important thing. The whole duty of man. This is the whole duty of man. Understand? To follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. These Haitian people are the original priests that took care of the Ark of the Covenant so that the glory of the Lord can fill that house, man. Understand? They administered to the people. They ministered to the people. Okay? Now let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 6 and verse 48. 1 Chronicles chapter 6 and verse 48. Their brethren, also the Levites, were appointed unto all manner of service of the tabernacle of the house of God. Okay. This is like Now let's go over to 1 Chronicles 15, verse 1. And David made him houses in the city of David, and prepared a place for the ark of God, and pitched for it a tent. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark of God but the Levites. You see that? None ought to carry the ark of God but the Levites. The Lord wouldn't let the Issacharites carry it. He wouldn't let the Judites carry it. He wouldn't let the Manassites carry it. He wouldn't let the Asherites carry it. He wouldn't let the Benjamites carry it. But the Levites, they can carry the ark. They're commanded to carry that ark. Okay. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark, but the ark of God, but the Levites. For them hath the Lord chosen to carry the ark and to minister unto him forever. Verse 3, and David gathered all Israel together and Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Lord unto his place, which he prepared for it. Verse 4, and David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites. See, so this was the thing for the Levites. David commanded them. David commanded them. Okay. David knew that they were supposed to. Okay, so we're going to go to 2 Chronicles, verse 5. 2 Chronicles, verse 5, and it's going to go from 1 to 6. Thus all the work that Solomon made for the house of the Lord was finished, and Solomon brought in all the things that David his father had dedicated, and the silver and the gold and all the instruments put he among the treasures of the house of God. Understand? Then Solomon assembled the elders of Israel and all the heads of the tribe, the chief of the fathers of the children of Israel, unto Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the city of David, which is Zion. 3, wherefore all the men of Israel assembled unto the king in the feast, which was in the 7th month. Verse 4, and all the elders of Israel came, and the Levites took up the ark. Verse 5, and they brought up the ark and the tabernacle of the congregation, and all the holy vessels were in the tabernacle. These did the priests and the Levites bring up. Verse 6, also King Solomon and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled unto him before the ark sacrificed sheep and oxen, which could not be told or numbered for the multitude. For multitude. Okay. So this is a heavy job, man. It's a heavy job for the children of Israel, man. Heavy job for the Levites. So we're going to go to the 17th chapter of 2 Chronicles. So it'll be 2 Chronicles, chapter 17. Okay, start at verse 1. And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his stead, strengthened himself against Israel. See, at this time, I believe, at this time, I don't believe it. This time the Israel there was 2 kingdoms in Israel. It was the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The southern kingdom were the Judites, the Levites, and the Benjamites. In other words, it was the so-called Negroes, the West Indians, and the Haitians. That was the southern kingdom until the kingdom both joined together under David. Okay. And the northern kingdoms were Gad, Ephraim, which are Puerto Ricans. Gad is your native Indians, your northern native Indians, and all the rest of the tribes of Israel. Okay, the tribe of Manasseh, which are your Cubans, the Zebulun, Panamanians, and all of that. Okay, so verse 2, and he placed forces in all fenced cities of Judah and set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa the father had taken. Verse 3, and the Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he walked in the first ways of his father David and sought not unto Balaam. He didn't seek unto, to worship idols and all of that. He followed his father David. He followed the ways of his father David. Verse 4, but sought to the Lord of God of his father and walked in his commandments and not after the doings of Israel. Verse 5, therefore the Lord established the kingdom in his hand, and all Judah brought to Jehoshaphat presents, and he had riches and honor in abundance. Jehoshaphat was a Judite, okay, so-called Negro. Okay, he was a king at that time, a king of Judah. Okay, verse 7. Also in the third year of his reign, he sent to his princes, even to Ben-Hail and to Obadiah and to Zechariah and to Nathaniel and to Micaiah, and to teach in the cities of Judah. Verse 8. And with them he sent Levites, even Shemaiah and Nathaniah and Zebadiah and Ashael and Shemiramoth and Jehonathan and Adonijah and Tobijah and Tabajana, the Levites, and with them Elishama and Jehoram, priests. Verse 9, and they taught in Judah and laid the book of the law of the Lord with them and went about throughout the cities of Judah and taught the people. Verse 10, and the fear of the Lord fell upon all the kingdoms of the land that were round about Judah. So they made no war against Jehoshaphat. Okay. That's that. Okay. Now let's go to 2 Chronicles 19, verse 4. And Jehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem and went out again through the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim and brought them back unto the Lord God of their fathers. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city. Verse 6, and said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge, not for man, but for the Lord, who is with you in the judgment. Verse 7, wherefore now let the fear of the Lord be upon you. Take heed and do it, for there is no iniquity with the Lord our God, nor respect of persons, nor taking of gifts. Verse 8, moreover in Jerusalem did Jehoshaphat set of Levites and of priests and of chief of fathers of Israel for judgment of the Lord and for controversies when they returned to Jerusalem. And he charged them, saying, thus shall ye do in fear of the Lord, faithfully, with a perfect heart. Verse 10, and what cause soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwelleth in their cities, between blood and blood, between law and commandment, statutes and judgments, Ye shall even warn them that they trespass not against the Lord, and so wrath come upon you and upon your brethren. This do, and ye shall not trespass. Verse 11, and behold, Amariah, the chief priest, is over you in all matters of the Lord, and Zebediah, the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Judah, for all the king's matters. Also the Levites shall be officers before you. Deal courageously, and the Lord shall be with the good. See, so they set charge. See, that's Jehoshaphat. He set charge over the Levites so that they should do the judgments, you know, and some of the house of Judah, the ruler in the house of Judah. Okay, so these are very important matters in Israel. Very important matters, you know, that the Levites took charge of. Okay, so don't hold these people light. These people are heavy. My brethren are heavy. These Haitians are heavy in what they're doing. We went there that night as representatives of the ISUPK. You know, not myself, but my brethren went down there, and they administered to the people. Man, we took care of our brothers down there, and it was noted on NBC, Fox, CBS, all that. Talk about a controversial group. We're not controversial. We're of the Lord. Okay, yeah, we are controversial because the Lord is controversial. Understand? Commander General Hana is controversial. Understand? Christ is controversial. Understand? Christ was what they say, a austere man. Understand? A man of high discipline, a revolutionary. All right? Controversy against the Roman Empire, with controversy against Egyptians, controversy against Babylonians, controversy against the Greeks, controversy against the Assyrians, controversy against America. Understand? These are the times of the end, man. This place is over. This is wrapped up. It's almost a wrap. Understand? It's almost over, man. You understand? It's about that time. It's about that time for America, man. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah. We're going to go to Nehemiah 8 and verse 3. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until the midday. See, if you know anything about the ISUPK, we go to the streets. We prophesy on the street corners. We hold camp in the streets. I've been in the Hollywood camp for many times, for almost the whole time until now that I hold camp with my brothers on these street corners, preaching, giving the word, reading the word, the book of the law, the Bible, reaching out and giving our people back their customs and their culture. Understand? We gave it back to our Haitian brothers over there. Their culture and their customs. We informed them that they are of the tribe of Levi. They are a tribe from the children of Israel. They are God's chosen people. And we say it to all Blacks, Hispanics. We hold all camps throughout America, in most of the states in this country and outside of this country, like Puerto Rico, like the United Kingdom, like what's another one? Puerto Rico, United Kingdom, Nicaragua, Jamaica, Trinidad. You understand? We have schools out there that hold camp, that get to the street corners, that get to the highways and byways, like Christ did. Christ didn't stay up in the church. Damn them Christian churches, man. Damn Islam. Damn Catholics. Catholic churches, man. They deceitfully lead our people astray. They do not teach the truth. The Lord is not with them. The Lord is with the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under the Commanding General Yohana, out of 1 West Harlem, New York. Understand? We 1 West, man, over here, man. We do everything out this book. Nehemiah was in the street. Let's read what he did. All right? Let's read what he did. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday. Out there when we was out there and going and giving our Haitian brothers supplies and food, our priests blazed on them morning till noon, just like Nehemiah did. He spoke and he blazed, which means he prophesied the whole day, the whole time that we were there giving out food and supplies. That's how we do it in camp. That's how we were trained to do it. No other group does that but the ISUPK correctly. We do it correctly. Understand? Okay? Morning till midday, before the men and the women and those that could understand, and the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law, which is this book right here, the Bible. Okay? Verse 4, and Ezra, the scribe, stood upon a pulpit of wood, and that's how we do it, which they had made for the purpose. And beside him stood Mattaniah, Shema, Ananiah, Urijah, Hilkiah, Maaseiah, and on his right hand and on his left hand, Pedaiah, Mishael, Malchiah, and Hashum, Hasbadna, Zechariah, and Meshullam. Verse 5, and Ezra opened the book in sight of all the people, for he was above all the people, because he was standing on that pulpit of wood. Okay? And when he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed the Lord, the great God, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting their hands. And they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground. All right. Make sure I'm on the right track here. All right. Also, Jeshua, Beni, Sherebiah, Jamin, Akub, Shabbathai, Hadijah, Maashiah, Kelita, Azariah, Josabad, Hanan, Peliah, and the Levites caused the people to understand the law. The Levites caused the people to understand the law. Okay? And the people stood in their place. So, verse 8, so they read in the book of the law, of God, distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. Verse 9, and Nehemiah, which is the Tishatha, and Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not, nor weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Verse 10, then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat, drink the sweet, and send the portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto our Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. Verse 11, so the Levites stilled the people, saying, hold your peace, for the day is holy, neither be ye grieved. Hold your peace means to be quiet. See, for the day is holy, understand? Neither be ye grieved. Don't have no grief. Don't be feeling sorry. This is a holy day right here. Hold your peace. Understand? That's what happened there. Okay. Now we're going to go to Nehemiah verse 10, and that's what happens when we go to camp. Understand? We get boot kisses. We make sure that our people get the flyers. We make sure that we blaze when we up on that pulpit of wood. We blaze up there. That's what we call amongst ourselves, blazing when we up there. Understand? That means we bringing it down to the people, letting them know, breaking down these scriptures, letting them know to turn from their sinful ways and their wicked ways. Turn from eating that shrimp, crab, lobster, from smoking them blunts, from sleeping with whores, from celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, your birthday, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all those things that are of the world, the 4th of July and all that. Get them holidays to them. Keep the Lord's holy days, like Passover, like Purim, like the Feast of Dedication, like the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Why don't you keep the Lord's feast, the Day of Atonement? Why don't you keep those days out the Bible instead of Merry Christmas and all that crap? You understand? Keep those days. Easter, what? Once a year, you're going to go into church with your fly suit, looking like a pimp, looking soft. Understand? That's not the way. And understand, man, the Haitians are not to be played with. The Mexicans are not to be played with. The Negroes are not to be played with. The Hispanics are not to be played with. The Native Indians are not to be played with. These are the chosen children of the Lord, the Israelites, Yashra'Allah in the Hebrew. America, I charge you. You will pay. You will pay for persecuting all of us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.